it's Freddie with the Income School Creator Studio of Rexburg. We are now just moments away, literally seconds away from finishing our first website, so we figured we would share this big moment with you guys. So come take a look.
Come on, man. You got this, Zach. You got it.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1!
Published.
All right, good job, everybody. So those are our employees in Rexburg, Idaho. We started the Income School Creator Studio just not that long ago, and they have created the very first website. It's done. In this video, we want to update you on what it has all been like, and just because we've had a lot of interest in it, but much more importantly, we know you guys, many of you, are just now starting your very first website that you're trying to move to profitability.
That's right. For all of these 17 people, they are just like you. They'd never done this before. The difference is we trained them right up front, so they knew exactly what to do. And even so, there are some things that they learned, and so we're going to share those things with you. But first, I want to share some numbers. I want you to know exactly what this is costing us. A response post, which is 1,350 words on average, is costing us $21.49 on average. That is better than we've ever paid writers before. Our staple posts are costing $42.98, and our pillar posts are costing us $64.47.
And the reason it's so much less is we have them going into an office where everything is set up. They have the keyword research ready to go. We've trained them on exactly how to move through it as quickly as possible. And so it's just a much more productive environment than what we've done for years in just hiring one-off freelance articles from freelance writers. And because we've been able to train them so much better, they're able to write so much more quickly. In fact, Ricky did the math on the average words per hour that someone in our Creator Studio can do, and it's 824 words per hour on average. That is a huge victory for us because this is the one area where we were scared about in starting this, and we heard dozens of comments from many of you guys who said our goals that we mentioned in the last video were just way too lofty.
The important takeaway I think that you I hope walk away from this video related to this is just that the speed, being able to write a response post in about 90 minutes is totally doable, and it's something that you can accomplish too. But if you're not there yet, I don't want you to bang your head against the wall, to weep and wail and say, I'm a failure, I'm failing. What I want you to do is just take an honest look at your process for writing and figure out what am I spending my time on? What is it that's making a response post take 6 hours instead of 90 minutes? What's slowing me down? And could I honestly speed that up? And then I want you to set that goal for yourself to at least be able to write a response post, 1,350 words, in about 90 minutes.
And that's a good way to put it, because not always will you want to.
Right.
You'll have one keyword that's like, this is tricky. I want to do some primary research. I want to make a custom image.
Absolutely.
You want to spend more time on it. That's awesome. But if you're able to do this, if you have the goal and you work until you are capable of doing this, then very often when you have a question that's being asked on Google that's pretty simple, you're able to just move through it very quickly. But you're going to have to struggle through a lot of writing lessons. So we talked to our manager at the Creator Studio, who you met in the intro, and he's going to share with you some of the things that our writers struggled with in the actual writing to help make you better. Well, what are some mistakes people can avoid?
Yeah, so a lot of these people are creative writers, and so they tend to write creative hooks, ways to draw your audience in from a creative perspective, and that just doesn't work with Google.
What about the tone? We've had some issues with tone.
Right. Yeah, we've had a few people who, it's interesting, they're actually our best writers. And that shows in their tone because they're very humorous. They're very engaging from that perspective. But really, we're writing for the web in kind of a perspective where we want to inform the reader. And so really every statement or close to it should be informational, should teach the reader something, when really we will have whole paragraphs sometimes that are just dedicated to telling a joke or humoring the reader. And that's really not what we're going for, even if it is entertaining. So
Yeah, it's tough to get that blend because we don't want to write like it's an encyclopedia, but at the same time, if there's a whole paragraph that was a joke or an anecdote, the reader is going to bounce. They came here to find out a question that they've Googled.
Exactly.
So that has been something difficult. In fact, we just had a meeting with the writers, and that's something they said is they like, you guys told us first, like, be neighborly and approachable. And then in later trainings, you're like, no, get to the point. And it's like, that's something that Ricky and I have struggled in providing teaching materials on, because it's just not a clear cut do this or that. It's just your general tone, and it takes a while to figure out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's time for some fun. We wrote down some predictions on where we expect the traffic and income to be on these websites once they have time to rank, which we consider 8 months for the articles to be getting to about the peak of where they're going to rank on Google. And then at that time, we're going to reveal the domain name generally to the whole world of what this site is, and you'll be able to see it and everything. So we wrote predictions on what we think that will be, and we wanted to make a little bit of a contest.
Yep, so what we are asking of you is to help us figure out not what the reward is for the winner, but rather what's the punishment for the loser.
That's right. The punishment for Ricky when he guesses this wrong. So I want you to just write in comments below just what would be some funny punishments that the loser has to do in the YouTube video when we reveal
And we'll
this.
pick at least one of them that the loser is going to have to do when we reveal this website after 8 months.
Drum roll, please. Okay, we nailed the page views.
You said 160, I said 120.
Oh, okay.
So there's going to have to be a consequence for whoever's most wrong on the page views. And then there's another consequence for whoever's most wrong on the monetization. So Jim's going to be working really hard to promote the site, but keep the monetization down.
That's right.
I'm going to be working my tail off to get that monetization through the roof.
So the reason behind, at least my guess, and it looks like we were on a pretty thinking kind of the same thing, is monetization usually takes a few tries. It's kind of a trial and error thing. I would be not happy if this was the monetization that this site ever got to.
Absolutely not.
I want to see it much higher. But it always takes us a few months. With Camper Report, we had good traffic, it wasn't earning very much, so we spent a couple months working on monetization, and it went from $2,000 a month to $8,000 a month. So we've seen that process, but we know you got to try different ad networks, try different affiliate offers, try, add things to the articles that are getting the most traffic, and then you can get the money up. So that's why, at least for me, and it looks like for you as well.
I would expect this website eventually, with no more content on it, to at least double my number.
Eventually, yeah. And even the traffic,
I'm
being a little bit conservative here because I know 8 months it's still a little bit early.
Yep, I agree.
Thanks everybody for checking out our update on Project Rexburg. 2 things I always want to remind you when we talk about Project Rexburg. Number 1, it's taken us years to get to this point in our business. For years, we were the ones writing individual blog posts, and then we had a little bit more, and we could invest in freelancers, and then up to this. There are hundreds of millions of websites, literally hundreds of millions of active domain names right now. So there's no way we are going to cover the entire web in even 100 of our lifetimes doing this. So there's a ton of room for anybody who wants to get in this. And the second thing is the reason that we're reinvesting so much into brand new websites, totally brand new, starting from scratch, just like you are right now, is because it is working. And we're extremely optimistic about this business model going forward. So start your first blog today.